Mike was indeed muted. I'll just start that over. Hello everyone. Mike was muted. I'll just. Oh, Garvey, thanks for the sub. Wow, it is. Oh, you have stayed subscribed the entire time I've been gone, and probably I'm still gone. That is incredibly kind. Thanks, Garvey. Anyway, yeah, welcome back to my stream. It's been quite some time since we've been here. But yeah, this is I've been working on for those who are coming in from from Twitch, if there are any of you. This is what I've been working on this game for the past 9 months. It's finally in a state where I can show off some of the mechanics. Pretty much everything on the underlying side of this game is done. But I still need to build a lot of the stuff, if that makes any sense at all. I promise it'll become clear as we go. Anyway, this is gonna be a little kind of look into what I've been doing here, what the game is so far. I will highlight this later, so hi people in the future who are potentially watching this. Yeah, we're gonna look through the game. Feel free to ask any questions as they come up with this game. There's no title screen music yet. There's a few incomplete art assets and whatnot, but you know, that's fine. So yeah, let's at least for right this second, let's get into the game for the most part, so we don't have to sit here in silence. So, yeah, what we got here is a, I kind of went with a pretty 16-bit-esque era RPG with a combination of things within my artistic limits and skill. So, I don't have the opening cutscene actually loading right now. I kind of don't want to get... I kind of too much don't want to really get into, like, the story or anything, today. Because, like, you just get to see, you just get to see little story bits. So we're gonna go over some mechanics. We're gonna look through some of the world. I mean, I'll answer, like, questions about the story and stuff, to an extent, but I won't, I'm probably not gonna talk too much about it going in. Anyway, if you, you have a permanent button on your keyboard that you can press. So, yeah, that's a little thing. You can always call that to, you can always call Sonia to, if you forget what you're doing. If you forget where the game is. Yeah, so, let's look through menus, because that's always fun. Like in some of the earlier Final Fantasies, you can switch the party order, and whoever's in front is the one you control on the overworld. So we have 4 party members here. These are our 4 characters. So, say hi to them, I guess. I really should have planned what I was gonna say instead of going into it, but that's fine. That's fine. We're just gonna step through. We're gonna look at things. As a note, I have no idea how long this stream is gonna last. It might be pretty short. It might not be all that short. We'll find out as we go. I mean, it's probably not gonna be multiple hours or anything like that. I'm guessing maybe like a half hour. Stream goes until it's done, exactly. Let me just get this in the default order again. Oh, thanks for the host, Garvey. What else should I show off from this menu? I don't think anything yet. So I've preloaded this save file. I've given us some money to play with. You wouldn't normally have this much money now, but then again, the game's kind of in a weird pre-game state. So yeah, we got some items so I can show them off. Some of the battle items. This menu doesn't do anything yet, please ignore it. Got skills. Each character has one skill at level 1, so that's all we got. That was weird. Anyway. Yeah, here we have a living room. You can't really do much of anything in these rooms. I don't know why I'm spending so much time in them, but, yeah, so... This is the main town, Sinel. As all JRPG protagonists, our protagonist lives in a little house just to the north of town. And as the game is right now, because we're at the beginning of the game, most directions out of town are blocked off. These will become accessible over the course of the game. Some of these, some of these areas are finished. Some of them are kind of half complete, and some of them haven't been started yet. But in any case, only the first area you go to down here is open right now. This isn't actually a walled-off area. You just can't go here. So I got some NPCs standing around the overworld. There are more NPCs to come, by the way, so if you did put your name down to become an NPC potentially, there were way more people who did it than NPCs. But if you did do that, then there is then you still have a chance to get in the game. We also have shops. These 3 buildings are shops, and this is the hotel, and this is the gym, and we'll get more into that as we go. Yeah, so, get little chests. I mean, of course you do. It's an RPG. Anyway, you can talk to the NPCs around town. They all have little things to say, plot relevant. The flags on them are set to talk as if we were in chapter 1 of the game, so to speak. So yeah, here's the only one that I... So yeah, there's a few NPCs hanging out around here. We can talk to all of them, because why not? Hey, Alexis made me put her in the game. And, oh, I already talked to Greg. So, I'm gonna be honest, I think Greg is the worst. Greg does not look super good. In fact, I'm pretty... I might redraw Greg at some point, but the reason I haven't redrawn Greg is because he kind of fell into this, like, knockoff Bobby Hill, visual. And I kind of... I kind of fell in love with this, terrible drawing I did. So anyway, goodbye, knockoff Bobby Hill. So yeah, we'll get into the buildings and kind of what's in them in a bit, but let's, Bobby Hill. So let's get into the combat a little more, because, I'm pretty proud of this combat system. It's kind of, I would kind of describe... It kind of, is a meld of, like, action commands and positional JRPG combat. So, there's no random encounters in this game. You can see a few. They typically pace. This one will actually chase you if you get too close to it. No, I'm not ready to show off combat yet. Ah! They won't chase you between rooms. You cannot honk at the duck. Actually, I can kind of honk at the duck if I... Hold on. I changed my, system sounds to, my system volume sounds to do this, so... this isn't part of the game, but I can do it. Let me just open the volume mixer. I changed my, this is unrelated to the game at all, but I changed my, my system alert sound to be, this. Sometimes I forget and I just get honked at when I make an error on my computer. That's not in the game, though. There's, so we're gonna restrict ourselves to a couple areas. I don't want to show off too much. But let's start with this snake. This snake is being a jerk, and I want to fight it. So you have our combat transition, and, the way combat works is, so you have two, I went over this on Twitter. But I'll go over it again here. Hi, Anthony Nelms. So the way combat works... Yeah, the snake is very fast, so it goes first. By the way, that's a duck, not a goose, but, so anyway... characters have 5 actions to pick from. The last one is just run away. I guess I'll do that first. Oops. That's, right. I need to... If you'll excuse me for a sec, I'm actually gonna fix that real quick, and we'll get back into the game. I was testing something earlier with, font sizes. So let me just, fix that. Very, very quickly. Okay, it's fixed. Just booting the game back up. And, actually, now we can talk about, so every time you go through a screen transition, the game autosaves. So, you can just load up that game. And there we go. You can also do manual saves. It's not the most exciting thing in the world. But if you want a manual save, who am I to stop you? What? No! No! Saving is extremely complicated, actually. It's the second most difficult thing in this game. It's the second most advanced thing in the game. The first most advanced thing, you may be surprised to hear, is this menu. Right here, navigating the, Hi, MTI. I think, Eniko wrote a big thread, a couple days ago about how complicated saving is. If you want to go read that. But yeah, it's the second most complicated thing in the game that I've made. The second most technically complicated thing in the game. The first most complicated is this asynchronous grid. So, just making this cursor navigate this grid well was the most difficult thing to make in the entire game. But let's go over, let's go over some, combat mechanics here. So, you have, you have action commands like in Paper Mario, if you need a, point of reference. You also have some positional tile-based mechanics. I'm only showing off some of the early game right now. So, as a result, there isn't anything too complicated in terms of tile spacing with the current abilities that these characters have right now. But as the game goes on, there will be some more complicated ones. But anyway, I'm gonna put... So, but let's just talk about moving, and we'll get over why to do that, why you do that. So, moving your character only costs half a turn, unless you switch spaces with another character, in which case it costs a full turn. Half a turn means that, I'll just show you. See, Maria's gonna move to this spot, and as a result, she only went halfway back down the turn order, instead of all the way to the end. So that costs half a turn, but if I were to have, Max switch with Maria, it would cost a full turn. And then every character, has items, and I added some of the fun items to inventory so we can play with them a little bit. But before that... Hi, Corendum. Hi, Jaxler. I added some of the, fun items so I can show them off. The item implementation is done, they all work. I might tweak the damage on some of them and the cost, but... they are all fully implemented. I will throw the brick, don't worry. So you have items. The third thing is abilities. All the characters only have one ability right now, and I'm only going to be showing off one ability. So Jess has the patch-up ability. It's a basic heal. It's based on her special attack. Yeah, so I'll have her use it on herself as an example. So yeah, heal to full. And then, you have a basic attack. You can pick your enemy, and the way this works is, so all the characters have the same basic attack. I will actually change the graphics on them by the final release, so that they all throw a different item. But right now they all throw rocks, which is what Max is meant to throw. So, if I have so the way it works is if I just press the button to throw, I'll do my attack and damage minus their defense, and then minimize to 1. Or minus half their defense, minimize to 1. I tweaked the damage formula a lot, to make sure you were constantly progressing with the numbers you see, while not having defense be a useless stat. And I'm pretty happy with the way that, that kind of turned out, because, this is not a game where you ever see big numbers. I think, like, towards the end of the game, you're not going to be seeing numbers bigger than, like, 20 ever. I mean, attack damages. So, you know, it's a small number game. And I'm also going to, if you, yeah, Paper Mario is a big inspiration, of this game. Speaking of Paper Mario style, so, if I... Oops, I messed it up. So, if I throw the rock, and I do it at the right time, you'll see I get a critical attack there. So you do double damage on a critical attack. Which can still be 1 damage if you're under-leveled. But... probably won't be. Yeah, let's, so let's move some, let's show off, so Jake's ability is, Shock. Hi, Wertha. So, if you look at this, these all have different little mini-games that you play to make them work. So this one has me enter a key sequence, which is always the same for, because randomized key sequence will be the gimmick of a later game attack, but this is always going to be the same key sequence because this is one of the early game attacks, so it's simple. So I just have to hit up, left, down, right when using it, and then I deal 3 damage as opposed to 1, which would have happened if I failed. I'm just going to move Maria over here. Enemy attacks work the same way. If I, so if I fail to dodge an enemy attack like I just did, I take double damage, same as they do. But if I press the command in time, which I just failed twice in a row, I get to only take half damage. So pretty much exactly like Paper Mario in that regard. Anyway, let's look at all the other characters' abilities. So, Maria's ability, Strike, only works in melee range. So you may recognize this. It has an inspiration from a certain popular game with the way Strike works, but let's strike this. So that's Strike. Max has Soulfire, which you can mash out some damage. And yeah, let's kill the snake. So that's what you get. That's what you have at the early game. So you don't heal between. And you'll notice that if I go into this next room, let me see if I can dodge the chicken because it's actually kind of hard. If I go into this next room, I'm actually going to open this chest. Got some jeans. There's just a box with some jeans in here. So we're going to get those jeans. As you can see, so the way enemies respawn is that they don't respawn until you completely leave the area. So if I completely leave, then the enemies will respawn. So here's the snake again. I figured that was a fair way to do it. That way you can grind if you want, but like if you're struggling to get through an area and you keep running into enemies, you can backtrack a little bit and not just get bogged down. Alright, let's fight this wolf. So the wolf is tougher than the other enemies in this area. So let's show off some of those items then. So a lot of these items you wouldn't be able to have this early in the game, but I've brought a few fun ones. So let me show off the weird tech first, or the shocker first. So the shocker does 10 damage to all enemies, and nothing in this game has that much health at this point. So everyone's leveled up. You heal on level up in this game. So everyone's level 2 now. I should move that item get text down. I will fix that. That actually I forgot to add until recently, so I haven't gotten to check it yet. So I will move the that text down a few pixels so it's not colliding with level up because I haven't tested that yet. So now that we're level 2, we get a bunch of stat increases. You can actually go look at the stats. This menu is not final. But characters basically have a set path of what's going to level up on which level number. So they all get a... So they all get some bonuses. Max and Jake get some speed bonuses here at this level, as well as some HP and some special... you always get HP. You don't always get SP. Jess gets some special bonuses, and Maria gets some physical bonuses. As you may guess from that, yes, Max and Jake are balanced characters. Jess is special, and Maria's physical. So, yeah. Maria's attacks are based on her, Maria's attacks, special attacks are based on her physical damage and not her special damage. She's special in that way. But, what's the word I'm looking for? She still gets significantly less SP, so she can't rely on skills as much. And there are still some things that special attack and, of course, special defense rely on. Now, some enemies, I should mention, have weak points where if you hit them from a certain angle, you'll do bonus damage. But none of the animals do. So none of these ones do. So I can't show that off, although if you go to the SoulSync Twitter account, there's an example of that in the battle thread I posted like a month or so ago, or 2 months ago, whenever that was. Anyway, let's look at some more items. So, by the way, there's a set number of encounters that can occur. It randomly picks an encounter from a list of encounters of that type. So there's 2 different types of snake encounter. So I can just show that off. So, if I fight the snake again, I might get the other one. Might. It's 50-50 chance, so I might have to try it a few times. I'm starting to think I might have not actually implemented that for the snake. Okay, no, there we go. Snake and chicken instead of 2 snakes. So let's look at some of the other items. So, brick just does 5 damage. Never underestimate a good old brick. Deals 5 damage to an enemy. So just bang, brick. The brick doesn't have a, have an action command. None of the items do. It's just free damage. It also isn't affected by enemy defense. So you can do big damage numbers. The other item I brought with us, besides some basic healing items, are, So, this is... I put this one in for fun, because I really like it, and also it was kind of a pain to make. So this thing has one of 23 effects, and actually at the low level we are, one of them will cause a party wipe immediately. So, let's hope that doesn't happen. A majority of them are good, some of them are neutral. So let's see what we get. Oop, that was a bad one. Oop, that was the really bad one! Fortunately, I brought a smoke bomb. 23 because I had 23 ideas. So, something about this game, when a character dies, they don't stay dead. When you leave the battle, they come back at 1 HP. Their menu icons actually, if you notice, actually have, change. So if you look at this, Maria is above critical health, so she has her default portrait. Max is, kind of beaten up, so we've got the, kind of the exhausted portrait, and Jess and Jake are in pretty bad shape on 1 HP, so they're crying. But it's okay, because, you can always, because we have the hotel here. There's some story here, which we're not gonna get too much into. But, free hotel use, so everyone's back to health. So yeah, let's look through some of the other buildings we've got in town. So, yeah, so item shop, pretty simple. We can buy and sell items. You can't, they are limited what you can buy based on how far in the game you are. And actually, there was a menu that was supposed to pop up there that didn't, but we can fix that later on. I'll put that in the note. It's actually supposed to have an explanation of what these items do, but it appears something bugged out there, so we're not going to worry about that right now. Yeah, we also have the clothing store and weapons shops. So normally you wouldn't have this much money this early in the game, but I cheated some in, so let's have Phil Phil get us some weapon upgrades, so we can upgrade weapons. So we can. So I guess I'll explain the themes. Max throws rocks. Jess uses like science fair experiments effectively. Maria uses sporting equipment. And Jake, don't worry about that. I didn't mean to look at Jake's. Don't worry about the $1,000 wrench. I promise there's a reason for that. Anyway, we also have the clothing store. Unlike weapons, characters don't have unique things they can wear. So, we can buy some, So right now, all we've got in stock is the jeans and the summer dresses. We can also buy accessories, so... you have 2 accessory slots, which you can toggle between. So let's get Jess a luck upgrade and a max SP upgrade. Let's get a nice summer dress for Maria. Let's save the rest of our money. Oops. I accidentally walked into the door there. But yeah, this is the last building that I haven't shown off yet. This is the gym. You can run on the treadmills. This doesn't actually do anything, but you can do it. We're not allowed to go upstairs. Anyway, the punching bag here is, we can either... So, we can engage the punching bag. The punching bag is a pretty simple, This is basically a, I kind of came to the realization while making this game that, we were going to run into problems, pretty quickly where players might not be able to figure out what their mechanics do, when they get a new ability. So this is a room where you can practice your mechanics. In case you've got a new ability, you can figure out what it does, and not stumble through it during a boss fight. So, the punching bag never punches back. I'm actually going to change it so that it, I'm actually going to change it so that it heals you every round, so that you have effectively infinite SP. But I just haven't done that yet. So yeah, and you can also see that the characters all are much stronger now with the weapons that I've given them. They're doing a lot of damage here. No, SP does not refill after battle. It's use SP carefully. Although you can use everyone's on full health, but you can use healing abilities out of battle. Oops. I meant to press close menu. We're just gonna reboot that. Yeah, and that about... Yeah, I was about right. That was about 40 minutes, so, 30 minutes in starting. So, yeah, I'm just gonna... So that about sums up... I'm glad you asked why you would use a smoke bomb instead of running away in the menu. It's because of this. So these snakes are way faster than I am. And you're unlikely to get, the way running away works is that it compares your highest living, party member's speed to the highest, speed of the enemies. So you're not guaranteed to get away, and if you're up against fast enemies like this, your odds aren't that good. Which again is why I'm shocked I got it first time. So these snakes are significantly faster than the party. So it's kind of hard to escape. So if you're desperate and need to get out of a battle, you got the smoke bombs. Now granted, there are some battles, like boss fights, that you can't get away from. For what I would think is obvious reasons. But anyway, that about does it with what I had planned to show off. Oh, thank you. So yeah, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'm gonna probably highlight this, post it on probably move it over to YouTube, leave it for people to watch in the future, and call it a night, and keep working on this, honestly. But yeah, that's what I have to show off. Whew. And I hope people look forward to the full game. I don't know exactly how long it's going to take, but it's not going to be the longest game in the world. I'm expecting it to take a few hours. I guess it's probably... I'm aiming for it to be about similar in length to something like Undertale. I actually haven't answered that. So I've made this in Game Maker, and the only so there's a ton of assets that I've used from like Open Game Arts. There will be a credits page. There will be a credits page in the actual game where I list off everyone whose free assets I used. Wow, I just got stuck there. Some of it's me. I drew some of this stuff. I didn't draw. Basically, if it looks really, really wow, that looks amazing good. What did I draw? I drew all the characters. I drew all these portraits. Ignore that. That was a, that's a bug because of the... That's not a real bug, that's a bug because of the weird state the game's in. The story attempted to progress. Which locked us out of being able to use that. Because, the story, because I closed and opened the game and loaded a game in a fake story set, it put garbage data in that dialogue, because that dialogue is story-based. You get it. Anyway, don't worry about that. But yeah, other than that, I use 2 plugins for Game Maker, which one of them I use 2 plugins for the actual programming. One of which I completely gutted, and and is almost unrecognizable from the source which I used. Which is what these menus are built with. So these menus were a Game Maker plugin called Menus that were they were basically meant to look like the title screen menu did, which I actually can't get back to at this point, but I'll just assume you remember what that looks like, or you can go rewind. I'm not closing and opening the game for that. But I basically expanded it to make it look more like this traditional JRPG menus, where you have character portraits and stats and stuff. Because it's really, really not built to work like this. So I had to hack it open and redo it. So that's pretty much unrecognizable. The other one I used is called FC Dialogue Systems, which is amazing. And that's responsible for these types of dialogues. I have also hacked this one open and changed some things about it, but it's mostly the way it was. And it's a really good tool, and if you are making an RPG in Game Maker, I strongly, strongly encourage the use of that. Because it's a pretty handy tool. Yeah, that's about it. All of the rest of the code I wrote. I promise I will have a big public list of all the assets that I didn't draw, which is most of them. I drew the characters, I drew the portraits, and I drew everything in the shops, oddly enough. These are all my assets. Not the tile set, but the rest of it. Hi Meg, thank you so much for the subscription, and thanks. 29 months, that's a lot of months. I have been working on the credits list as I go. I just haven't made an in-game credit sequence yet, but there is a text document in my arts folder, in my assets folder, that has a list of everyone whose credits I've used, or everyone whose effects I've used. If you may have guessed, I obviously didn't make any of the sound effects. I don't have, I'm not equipped to do that. Um... But yeah, that about does it for this. So yeah, unless there's any more questions people want to ask, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna highlight this, post it on YouTube, post a link to it for people who didn't get to see it or missed the beginning. When is hard skip? As soon as someone tries to find skips in this game, which I'm not exactly sure will happen. Oh yeah, and the music is also obviously not me. I can't make music. I'm not a music person. There is one bug, I will say. There is one bug I caught, that is a frame-perfect trick. That I found. That I decided to leave in the game to torture anyone who would try to speedrun this. Because it's a frame-perfect trick that you can do in combat. What the heck? Huh, there's some weird... Oh, I'm dumb. Never mind. I'll tell you what, no, I'm not gonna see if I can get it. But yeah, it's very, very challenging to pull off, because it is literally a one-frame window. And I know it's a one-frame window, because you basically have to do an input before certain things reset. And it only works at certain times. So, good luck with doing that one consistently. I've pulled it off like 3 or 4 times, and I've tested this pretty heavily. But yeah, what's the frame rate? 60. It's 60. This is running at 60. So no cheating with your 20 frames a second. I mean, yes, you could do that, but you wouldn't be saving any time at that point. And also, I imagine the leaderboards would ban that. But what do I know? In any case, I don't think I'm really going to attract too many speedrunners with this game, so I'm not particularly worried. There's a lot of random things in this game, so it's not very speedrunner friendly. SRC got really, like, SRC is really, restrictive these days with, like, what it lets go on its website. So, like, you'd have to get a whole community together, to get them to approve that leaderboard. But anyway, yeah, I think that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for, watching this. I have another game out that is very much made in 14 hours and a bit of a mess, but honestly, I'm pretty proud of it considering 14 hours. It was made by me and Cube King. You can go play that on my itch right now if you want to play a game by me. It's free. Thanks for watching. This will be out sometime next year, probably. I might have a playable demo soon. Soon. In quotes. But we'll see about that. Thanks so much for watching. I'm gonna find someone to host. Oh man, I haven't done this in ages. What's a stream? I haven't streamed in so long that, like, it's possible that no one I follow is still a streamer. That's actually a complete lie, because a lot of them are watching this stream right now. And also, I still exist on Twitter, even if I never watch streams anymore. So let's see who we've got. Oh, heck yeah. Heck yeah, that's good. Half Coordinated is playing, it looks like Half Coordinated is casually playing, Bug Fables, which is a, like, very, 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 TTYD-inspired, RPG. It looks super cool. I really want to get around to it at some point. And if you have interest in what I just showed you, you probably would like this game. And also, if you're a person, you probably would like Half Coordinated, because Half Coordinated is great. So, I'm gonna send you all over there. Goodbye!